You're over 40, you're eating protein, you're exercising, so why are you still losing muscle? It's because of something called anabolic resistance. And once you understand it, so many of the frustrating things that happen in peri and postmenopause will finally start to make sense. I'm Dr. Rachel Felber. I'm an emergency medicine physician and a women's health and strength coach. And in this video, we're going to talk about what anabolic resistance is, why it happens after menopause, and most importantly, what you can do to overcome it. We'll start with the basics. Anabolism just means building. So when we talk about anabolism in terms of our muscles, we're talking about our body's ability to build muscle, repair, maintain muscle. When we're younger, our bodies respond much more robustly to the signals that we give it to build muscle. So for example, you eat a little bit of protein, your muscles will respond. You go to the gym and lift some weights, your muscles will respond. Menopause is that our bodies develop what's called resistance to anabolism. And that means that our muscles become less responsive to the same signals. So eating the same amount of protein or doing a workout in the same way is just not going to give your muscles and your body the same results that it did when we were younger, when our muscles were a lot more responsive and ready to take in those signals and turn it into building muscle. You can think of it like giving your body verbal instructions. So when we're younger, you can just sort of call the instruction over your shoulder and your muscles will hear it and they will do their job and they will grow and adapt and build and get stronger. But after menopause, that doesn't work anymore. After menopause, you have to grab your muscles, shake them, and yell at them so that they get the instructions to build. So this anabolic resistance happens for a couple reasons. And one is just aging. And I hate to say that, but it's just true. As we get older, our cellular machinery just gets a little bit less efficient. And all of the parts involved in muscle protein synthesis get less efficient as well. So this happens to men too. Men do experience anabolic resistance as well, but not nearly as much as women because menopause plays such a huge role. The drop in estrogen plays a huge role. It massively accelerates our resistance to anabolism. Estrogen's role is so much wider than just reproductive health. Estrogen plays a huge role in muscle maintenance, recovery, inflammation, and overall metabolic health. So when our estrogen drops dramatically in our 50s or so, suddenly muscle maintenance becomes much, much, much harder. Other unsavory changes that happen after menopause include higher levels of baseline inflammation, worsening insulin resistance, and crappier sleep. Add on top of that the fact that so many women have years of chronic dieting or eating in a calorie deficit behind them, and many women will either reduce their activity as they get older, or the opposite, they'll increase their cardio thinking that will help with fat loss, which actually in many cases can contribute to fat gain and muscle loss. Now, I mentioned sleep, and I think most people don't appreciate the value of sleep when we talk about building muscle and maintaining muscle. If you have the best workout program ever and your diet is totally on point and you're super consistent with both of them, but your sleep is crappy on a regular basis, you're going to really, really struggle to lose fat and build muscle. Most people don't understand how critical sleep and recovery is to building muscle. I go as far as telling my clients that if you have to choose between getting your workout in or getting a good night's sleep, in many cases, sacrificing the workout for a good night's sleep is actually a better approach because the muscle isn't built during the workout. You're actually breaking the muscle down. You're actually injuring the muscle fibers. During the workout, you're in a state of catabolism, which is muscle breakdown. And it's only in the period afterwards, 24 or 48 hours, that your body rebuilds and recovers and makes those muscles bigger and stronger and ready for your next workout. But if you're doing too much back-to-back workouts, too much cardio, or you're having crappy sleep and you're not giving your body enough time in that deep restorative sleep, where you're being exposed to growth hormone and testosterone and really just giving your body the resources and time it needs to allow your muscles to build, they will not build efficiently. And you are not going to be getting the most out of the workout that you did. Now, how does this play into anabolic resistance? When we are post-menopause, our bodies need that rest and recovery even more than we did when we were younger. Like everything else in menopause, we have to be more intentional about our rest and recovery, just as we do with our diet and our workout. So yes, while it sucks and it's unfair that women have to deal with anabolic resistance, there is actually a lot that we can do to mitigate it and to increase our muscles' response to the signals that we give it. Probably not going to surprise you to hear that the first and most important is strength training, also called resistance training or lifting weights. And it can also be body weight exercises too, or band exercises, anything where your muscles are moving against resistance counts. This is by far the most powerful signal that a postmenopausal woman can give her body to build muscle. And this is why strength training gets more and more important as we get older. Now, unfortunately, many women, especially many postmenopausal women who have never lifted weights or maybe don't even know anybody who lifts weights and it's so foreign to them, they turn to cardio for their exercise, thinking that it's going to burn calories, it's good for their heart, it's going to get them in shape. And the truth is, cardio is great. There's a time and a place for it, but cardio is going to do very, very little for building muscle. And in fact, in many cases, it can cause you to lose muscle. If you're doing too much steady state or moderate intensity cardio, it can cause you to accelerate your muscle breakdown. Now, that, of course, is not to say that cardio is off the table. It's great. Everyone should do it. I love it. I do cardio. But don't be fooled into thinking that it is going to help you maintain or build muscle as we age. The second one I don't think will surprise you either. The second one is protein. And because of anabolic resistance after menopause, we need more protein than we did when we were younger. You should be aiming for 30 to 40 grams of high quality protein at every meal. And that doesn't mean 30 is the stars and you shoot for the stars and hope that you come close. 30 should really be the absolute minimum that you get in each meal. It takes about that much to turn on the muscle building processes. And you really want those processes to be turned on and being active as much as possible throughout the day. So if you have a little bit of protein in the morning, a little bit with a snack, a little bit with lunch, and then a lot with dinner, you're going to turn on that muscle building machinery in the evening one time and miss out on opportunities all throughout the rest of the day to have that going. And you can't afford that. A really important time to ensure that you get enough protein is immediately after any high intensity workout. So a heavy strength session or a high intensity interval training session. And this is because immediately after your workout, within 30 minutes or so, is when your muscles are primed to start the rebuilding and repair process. That's when your muscles are listening most closely to any signal that you give it. So you really want to give it the protein so it gets those amino acids immediately after the workout when your muscles are craving it and ready for it and eager to start building. That's the sweet spot. And that's when you want to make sure that you have at least 30 grams of protein to take advantage of that moment. The third thing that you can do to combat anabolic resistance is to protect your recovery. This is, I think, the most often overlooked and misunderstood in terms of how essential it is. Many women feel that if they are not getting the results that they want, or they're not getting results as quickly as they want, they need to do more. They need to add another strength session. They need to run more, cut calories more. They need more work, more discipline. And in fact, especially after menopause, what many women need instead is better recovery, better quality and quantity of sleep, and giving your body the physical rest and the physical downtime that it needs, direct resources into building muscle. The fourth and final thing you can do to combat anabolic resistance is consistency. The women who succeed are not being perfect. Nobody's perfect. Throw that idea out the window. The women who succeed are sending these signals to their bodies on a regular basis as often as they can. Strength training, proper nutrition, rest and recovery, repeat for weeks, for months, for years. This is not the quick fix that you're seeing from some social media influencers. This is not get your beach body in 2 months. This is your lifestyle, and you are building these habits and you're building this consistency into your life. And let's not forget why this is so important, why building and maintaining muscle into our 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond is so important. It's because we want to have a nice washboard six-pack abs in our 80s, right? I think by now most of us understand that the role of muscle goes so far beyond structure and just moving our bones around. The research is conclusive that muscle protects our overall health. It improves our metabolic health, our cardiovascular health. It improves the way our bodies handle glucose. It improves our immunity. It improves our bone health. It improves our brain health and our cognition. It improves our balance and coordination and reduces our risk of falls. It gives us independence and better quality of life into our later decades. Muscle is everything. Muscle drives health. So if you're one of the many, 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 many women out there who feel like you're doing all of the same things you did in your 30s and your 40s, and it always used to work, and now it doesn't, and your body is changing in ways that you don't love, and it's confusing and frustrating, please know you're not alone and you're not crazy, and your hormones have changed, and that really just changes the whole game. And as a result, your approach has to change. You have to be more intentional. You got to do the strength training. You got to get the protein in, not just for the day, but in each meal. You've got to prioritize rest and recovery, and you've got to do it for a while before you should expect to see results. But from the perspective of somebody who's worked in the ER for over 10 years, I can tell you that it is definitely worth the time and energy investment. The investment in building muscle, in improving your health, in yourself. Do you want to be the 80-year-old grandma who has no energy to play with her grandkids, or the one racing them up the hiking trail? Working to build muscle now is the difference between the two. I'm Dr. Rachel Felber, ER doctor and women's health and strength coach. Thanks for watching, and if you found value in this, go ahead and hit subscribe. I put out new videos every week for women looking to trade fat for muscle, improve their metabolic health, and age with strength.